you know, this is our 8th rally today. We have done 8 rallies, and we started in Loveland this morning. Up to this point, we counted over 500 people at all of those rallies across Colorado. So you'll make 600, I think, pretty close to it. Right here in the great town of Pueblo. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Fox News contributor, Monica Crowley.
Because in 19 days, you know what happens? The United States of America will come under new management. And not a moment too soon, and I mean literally not a moment too soon. We hear all the time, we have heard, I'm sure all of us have heard every presidential election cycle, this cliche that this is the most important election of our lifetimes. Well, guess what? This time literally is the most important election of our lifetimes, maybe ever in the history of the Republic. And it's because we are facing two very distinct paths. Are we going to continue down the road of Barack Obama's statist redistributionism, socialism, Marxism, communism, progressivism, liberalism, whatever you want to call it, and in the end, the label doesn't even matter. What matters is the policies and the consequences, and we can see the consequences unfolding before our eyes. We see the consequences imploding all of Western Europe that has gone down this path for decades. Or are we going to choose the path of economic freedom? Championed by Americans for Prosperity and championed by Governor Mitt Romney. That is the choice before us. Now, it's crystal clear to all of us standing here, but it's not crystal clear to a lot of American voters, even now, even at this late date. And I can tell you, as recently as about 3 weeks ago, before the first presidential debate, I would speak to groups like this all across America. And I would look out into the audience and see abject terror in every single face. Panic. Everybody was absolutely petrified. Are we going to lose America? Because that's really what the stakes are here. 4 more years of Barack Obama, this country is gone. Gone. As in, we'll be unrecognizable. Will the land be here? Yes. Will the Rocky Mountains still be here? Yes. But remember, America is an idea. It's not just a collection of rocks and beaches, as beautiful as this country is. America is an idea built on individual freedom, economic liberty, the Constitution. 4 more years of Barack Obama, those things will be gone for good. Defeat an enemy, and yes, I said enemy. You cannot defeat an enemy unless and until you are willing to call it what it is and look it square in the face. Right. You can't do it with an external enemy, whether it's radical Islam. You can't do it with an enemy from within, the far left kooks who are now running this nation, unless and until you can call them what they are. Barack Obama is a liar. Yeah. And Barack Obama is a socialist. Period. End of story. Now that you know the truth, now that we can say the truth out loud, we can defeat it. Barack Obama gussied up the truth in 2008. He put it in a really nice dress. He slapped some lipstick on that pig 4 years ago. And what he did, which was so clever, he used the same 2 phrases over and over again 4 years ago. He kept talking about the fundamental transformation of America, and he kept talking about remaking America. Both the same concept, right? But here was his genius. He would throw those phrases out there, and then he would sort of step back. And he would allow the American people to supply their own meanings to what those phrases were. He would allow all of us to supply our own meanings to what we thought he meant by it. So the 53% of the American people who voted for him 4 years ago, not any of us, by the way, that 53% said, gosh, I think when he talks about fundamental transformation, he must mean electing the first black president, very historic act. Or he must mean finally getting rid of President Bush, that awful guy. Or finally fixing this economy, which is in free fall. What I have been arguing, and I argue it in my book, and I've been arguing it ever since, Don't pay attention to what you think he meant by those words. Pay attention to what he meant by them.
Amen.
And now we have 4 years of evidence as to what he meant by fundamentally transforming the nation. Barack Obama is the quintessential leftist kook. And let me tell you what I mean by leftist kook. And this is very important for all of us to understand and spread the word about to family members and our neighbors and our friends who are undecided or thinking this is just another run-of-the-mill election. This is not. This is not just another garden variety Republican running against a garden variety Democrat. What Barack Obama represents is a whole different ballgame. This is not your father's and grandfather's Democratic Party. Know that. Know that. This is a wholesale takeover by the far left kooks. I write in my book that 1968 was a critical year because that was the year that the Democratic Party got overrun by the far left radicals, the anti-American radicals. They took over the party and they began to marginalize the moderates and the mainstream Democrats. So understand, they never again wanted to see a Harry Truman. They never again wanted to see a JFK. Somebody who actually cut taxes in a pro-growth economic way, or actually believed in America's military strength. They never wanted to see that again because they are fundamentally anti-American. So from 1968, the far left kooks take over the party and they start nominating kook after kook for president. George McGovern, Michael Dukakis, God help us. Okay? Walter Mondale, even more God help us. Al Gore, John Kerry, the list goes on and on and on. And the only time since 1968 that the Democrats did not nominate a kook, they got elected to the presidency not once but twice, and that was Bill Clinton. Now, Bill Clinton is kooky in other ways, and his wife is definitely a kook, but Bill Clinton wasn't a kook, or at least was pragmatic enough to restrain his biggest kook instincts because he wanted to thrive. He wanted to survive. It was about his legacy more than America. He wanted to win. But he was smart enough to understand, okay, let's cut the capital gains tax rate and get some economic growth going and job creation. That'll help me. And oh, by the way, it might help America too. And it which is at the base of their entire philosophy. After he does that, what does he do next? 5 weeks into his presidency, he takes up health care. For a long time, even to this very day, you have people wandering around scratching their heads going, I don't understand why Barack Obama wasted a year and a half on health care. Nobody was screaming for health care reform. Yeah, we know he's reform, but nobody was yelling for that. People are suffering. People are out of work. Why did he waste a year and a half? Here's why. When you look at the history of every socialist country, the very first thing the socialists do when they get power is take control of the healthcare system. Why? Because if the government controls your healthcare, the government controls you. If the government is in your eyeball and your ear canal and places where the sun don't shine, the government controls you. When the government controls your health care, they control your well-being, they control your life, and thanks to Sarah Palin, we also now know they control your death. Make no mistake about it, that's why they went for total control of your health care, is to control you. This is all about clamping down on your freedom, eliminating your freedom, and ravaging the U.S. Constitution. That's been their mission for decades. And they've finally been able to get close to finishing the job. When Barack Obama goes out and says publicly, I need another 4 years to finish the job, this is what he means. Again, don't think about what you think he means by that. Think about what he means by it. When he says finish the job, he means finish America. This is what we are up against. This is a war. The leftists fight this war in a very brutal and vicious way, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They never rest, they never falter, and they never fail. They keep their eyes on the prize, always. We're out here trying to earn a living, get an education, support our families. I mean, I hope all of you have jobs. Maybe you don't in this Obama economy, but at least we're trying. As I said on November 6th, I do believe that the United States will come under new management. And I think that night we will be celebrating President-elect Mitt Romney Vice President-elect Paul Ryan. And we will be saying goodbye and kiss our you-know-what to former President Barack Obama. And doesn't that have a great ring to it? Former President Barack Obama. So he can join former President Bill Clinton in their rivalry as former presidents and, be their two scorpions in a bottle looking to kill each other. They can do it on their own dime rather than on our dime. Thank you very much. Here's what gives me hope. They were ruining America. They anticipated this moment. The Founding Fathers anticipated the moment when all three branches of government would be in the crapper. And here we are. Here we are. Okay? So, let's not let the Founding Fathers down. They took their lives in their hands. They risked everything to give us this great gift and this great experiment in human liberty. Let's not let them down. I know none of us here will, but we have to work night and day to salvage what's left and rebuild and restore America, and we will. And we will. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Monica. Awesome. Thank you so much.